Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today we're going to go through my February TBR. The month of February for me is going to be dedicated to a readathon that I am co-hosting. The lovely Rainy Blue Reads has invited me to co-host the Battle of the Girl Bands readathon that's happening over on her channel. There are 4 teams to choose from. We have Spice Girls, TLC, Destiny's Child, and the Cheetah Girls. So if you guys are interested, I will link the announcement video down below. I'm on Team Spice Girls, so you all know which team to pick. There is a Discord on Rainy's channel that you can join as well, where you can see all of the prompts. I'm going to be going through my choices for what I will be reading for the readathon, and then next Tuesday, I will also be giving you guys, or not next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, I will be giving you guys kind of a list of some recommendations for a lot of the various prompts in each of the teams. So if you guys are having a hard time coming up with your TBR and none of the books on this TBR are interesting to you, hopefully you'll find something on that list as well. So with this TBR, I am trying to be a little bit realistic to how many books I typically read in a month, but I'm also trying to be strategic. I am a slower reader, and so I also want to provide as many points as possible for my team, and so I am going to be doing a lot of audiobooks. I have already been scouring my library system and putting holds on the audio for books that are a little bit more popular that I'm gonna have, or that I would have had to have waited for, and I think I'm in good shape, and I think a lot of these books are going to come in on time. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the prompts that I'm going to be fulfilling. There are many more prompts that I am not going to talk about in this video, so if you want to participate in the readathon, you really should go and watch Rainy's announcement video because it has much more information in it, and the Discord has everything that you need to know. So if you are interested in participating, please go check those 2 things out because they will give you more answers than I can give you here. The first prompt that I will be fulfilling for Team Spice Girls is a horror book. And so this is actually one that you guys are helping me with. I, in one of my previous videos, had you choose between 3 horror novels. It was Maeve Fly, Stolen Tongues, and She is a Haunting. If you want to know what those books are about, go check out that video. I will have that linked in the cards as well as in the description, so you guys can check that video out if you are interested. And you can still place your votes until February 1st. That's when I'm going to cut off the voting on that and decide what read I'm going to pick. I did put all 3 of them on hold. Depending on which one is chosen will depend on when in the month I read this. So if Stolen Tongues or Maeve Fly gets chosen, I'll have to read them at the end of February because those had longer holds than She is a Haunting, which I believe I'll have the first week of February. So we'll see which one gets chosen, but that will be my horror pick for this. I will also be reading I Feed Her to the Beast, which I'll put a picture over here because I'm not sure if I have the title correct. This is one of my co-hosts' favorites, and so within this readathon, Rainy asked each of the co-hosts to provide a favorite, and that is one of the things that you can do to earn points for your team is to read the host favorites. And there's also an ultimate book, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So this is Courtney's favorite. It's also a horror novel, and so if I end up picking, or if you guys end up picking Maeve Fly or Stolen Tongues, then I have to wait until the end of the month. I might read this first as the horror prompt and then read another horror with your guys' pick later in the month. The second prompt for Team Spice Girls is a UK author, and for this I am picking up The Secret Adversary by Agatha Christie. This is part of my 24 in 2024. I actually have no idea what this is about other than the fact that it's the first in the Tommy and Tuppence series by Agatha Christie, which I really want to start. And I'm sure it's mystery because it's Agatha Christie. I've heard that it is very different in, I don't know if it's narrative style or if it's just the characters are very different in this series, but we'll see. I'm excited to read more by Christie. The third prompt I'll be fulfilling for Team Spice Girls is a highly anticipated read, and for this one I will be reading Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands, and I'm going to be buddy reading this with Leandra over at Leandra the TBR Zero. So I was originally supposed to read this in January for TBR-a-thon, but as Leandra and I got chatting over the month, we decided that we wanted to read this together in February, so I held off, and we're going to be reading this the first month of February, and this is definitely a highly anticipated release for me. I pre-ordered the second book right after I read the first. If you've never heard me talk about Emily Wilde's encyclopedia, it follows Emily Wilde, who is essentially a scientist who is studying fairies, and she's creating an encyclopedia of all of the different types of fae that exist. And she has learned so much that she kind of gets herself into trouble every once in a while, and she ends up going off into kind of a remote location very cold location, and she thinks that she's going to be by herself. She is studying the Fae up there, and one of her colleagues ends up showing up. One that she's not super thrilled is there with her. And so you have the antics between these two characters. You also have the dangers that she gets into while studying the Fae, as well as the town folk and the story of their small town and their interactions with Fae as well. The next prompt is a book whose title starts with the letter S for Spice Girls. And so on this, I actually have 2 books that I'm going to read in February that start with S. And I don't know if I can do this prompt twice. I know that you can't count one book for multiple prompts, but I don't know if you're allowed to repeat prompts. So I'm going to have to figure that out. But regardless, I'm planning on reading 2 books this month that start with the letter S. One of them is Sundial. And Sundial is the synopsis is really creepy. It talks about a woman kind of wanting a perfect family, and she almost has it. She has a house, 2 kids, and they live in a suburb. But one of her daughters, I think it's her daughter, collects bones and whispers to an imaginary friend. And I don't know how old this child is, but that's creepy. So I'm excited about this one. I also have Suburban Hell, which I'm going to be buddy reading with Nell Diamond. And I am really excited about this one. This is supposed to be kind of quirky horror, which is another genre I wanted to dive into this year. I think it's like Desperate Housewives meets horror, I guess. I know that it's about a group of women who live in a suburb who end up disturbing something like a spirit or something in their neighborhood, and things go down. There was something about their HOA coming after them as well, which I'm all for it. I think it sounds hilarious. The next prompt is finding a book with certain words in the title, and the word that I have chosen is the word life. And I have 2 books for this as well, one that I know I will read and one that I probably will read, and we'll see if I can count it twice. This is a 50-point prompt, and so if I could do 2 books for this one prompt, that would be great. The first is The Hidden Life of Trees, which is on my 24 and 2024. This is a nonfiction book that follows the life of trees and how they communicate with one another. And after reading the Overstory this month, I'm in a nature kick. I want to read more about nature. I want to read about trees. And this book has been on my TBR forever. So I'm excited that one of the prompts actually allowed me to pick this up. The next book has been on my TBR for a while as well, and I've kind of forgotten about it. It's called Life After Life. And to be honest, I don't remember much about this book. I know that it has time traveling in it, and I know that it's about reliving your life until you get it correct. But I don't know in what sense. I don't know, other than the time travel, if this is considered fantasy. I don't know if we're following a female protagonist or if we're following multiple protagonists. We'll find out. I'm also going to share with you guys some of the steals that I anticipate doing. I am just going to rapid fire these. I'm not going to go through their synopses because I'm not sure that I'm going to get to any or all of these. I want to kind of put these out into my brain and make sure that I remember. After you do 4 of the prompts in your specific band that you've chosen, then you get to steal from other teams' prompts. And so these are my steals. The first is a prompt that involves a cat in it, and for this I'm going to use starter villain. The next is a new author, which this I could really use for a lot of books, but I recently got Djinn Waits 100 Years, and I'm excited about that. It's like fantasy horror. I also have a book that starts with a C for the Cheetah Girls. I chose Cackle, which is a Rachel Harrison that I haven't gotten to yet. The next is a book that starts with T for TLC, and I had 2 for this, depending on what can come in on my Libby app. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells or Theme Music. I can't remember what that book, or who that book is by, but I'll put a picture up so you guys can see it. The book that includes royalty, I'm going to read The Queens of Innis Lear. That's another book that's been on my TBR for a while that I've just been itching to get to. A book that starts with D for Destiny's Child. I'm going to read Daphne by Josh Malerman, I think is the author's name. It's been one that it's been on my list for a while. Next, a book with woman in the title. I'm going to think about getting Lone Woman by Victor Laval. He's an author that I haven't gotten on with before, but we'll see if I do this month. And then for a book with this in the title, I actually have two as well. I have either This Charming Man, which is the second book in the Stranger Times series, which I'm excited about, or This Wretched Cliff, which the cover just grabs me. I also plan on doing some of the buddy reads on this list as well. I've already talked about I Feed Her to the Beast, which is for my team, Courtney's favorite. I was going to read Rainie's favorite, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it in the month of February because I think it had like a 16-week wait, so we'll see. And then, you know, sometimes you can cut the line depending on how many people like switch their hold or delay their holds. I also think I'm going to pick up The Do-Over, which was, I believe, Nell's favorite. Ooh, I didn't write down whose favorites these all were, but you guys should check out the readathon so you know like who picked these favorites. I also think the Bandit Queens sounds really interesting. It's one of the other co-host favorites. The Tiger's Wife was Leandra's favorite. Godkiller, I think, is Julie's favorite, if I remember correctly. And then A River Enchanted is another buddy read. That's the major, like the massive buddy read that the entire book readathon is doing. I think you can get 200 points for reading that. I really, really want to read it. However, it is, I have like, I think it's another, like it's like 15-week wait to get that book. And I don't know that I want to buy it because I've looked into, I'm not sure that it's something I'm going to enjoy. So I don't know that I want it for my collection. It might be something I look up on Kindle. We'll see. But so those are the books that I am thinking about. The first section that I kind of explained to you, those are my absolutes. And then the rest are kind of just books that I want to get to throughout the month. I really hope that if you guys are interested in the readathon that you check out Rainie's video down below and sign up for Team Spice Girls or any team that meets your fancy and that you have fun with some of these prompts. I really enjoy kind of digging into my TBR and hunting through my library and finding books that I'm interested in that still meet these prompts. And yeah, we'll see. I am not super competitive, but I think I can get there. So we'll see how I do. I'm definitely going to try my best, and I'm going to try and get as many points for Team Spice Girls as I possibly can. And so I would love having your help in that endeavor if you guys would like to join. If not, if you just want to follow along with me and watch me either crash and burn or succeed, join me for this journey of readathons. Let me know in the comments down below what book you are most excited to read in February. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.